All right, we are here at our weekly production meeting, and all right. Well, we have a great development. Do you want to do the week in review, Jay Z?
Yeah, well, haven't made any updates to the website this week, so I don't have anything to show for that. Um, I could share what I've worked on this week in review.
Okay.
If anybody might be inspired, look, check it out. All right, I'm doing two things. One is I'm working on my character's
Wow.
uh,
Cool.
icon, and I'm doing it in latch hook rug fashion.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
so far, I've gotten to the purple part that's going to be on the outside. I made this little tool so that I could you wrap the yarn around it, and then you after you do that, you cut it in a little groove and make the little things. So far, I've gotten to this far.
Well, I can see it already.
It looks just like you.
Thank you. Well, then I switched gears because I had this other idea that I would make a light bright representation of Z0.
Oh my
And
god.
then this is how far I got with that one.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to work with the amount of light bright things that I have because I kind of ran out. But so I might have to like procure more light bright pegs.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
that's
Yeah.
what I got so far.
You're iconizing the characters at zero. I really love the picture that you made on the grid and how the beard comes down below the circle. Was
Oh
that
right.
your idea, or how did that? Was that an AI, or who did that?
Yeah, I did it in Canva, and it didn't stay in the circle exactly. So, and I agree. I like that too. I'm gonna definitely have it not be a circle, but like go below it because I've seen other latch hook things too, where the bottom things like you don't cut them and have them just be the rug things, but instead you leave long strands. And I might do that. I might leave long strands and then braid them.
Oh wow, that's cool.
For
That's
Yeah,
the longest part of your beard, right?
yeah, yeah.
mm,
Well, I don't think it can be this long. Look how long my beard is. I can't when it's unbraided. I can't even like go to the. It goes past my hand.
You need
wow.
longer arms. You could. Why can't you leave it that long? You could leave it long, right?
But like then when you're standing by a table, it like drags on the table,
No, I
and
meant
when
the
you're
rug.
eating, oh, I thought you meant my beard.
I thought the long beard was for leftovers.
Oh, yeah, good one. It's for
But
birds nesting, I think, in some
right,
oak.
you you could leave the rug long for the to match your beard, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I meant.
So, what do you think the usefulness of like iconizing the characters in like these pictures is? And that's for everyone. It doesn't have to be just to Jay Z.
What was the question? So what are you asking?
So the clowns are becoming like beaded. We have beaded pictures of the clowns, and then now Jay Z's making latch hook pictures and light bright, and it's like we're basically making merch of the characters, like merchandise. So, but like, why is that a worthy use of time? I guess is the question. I mean, I think it is, but like, why though?
Well, it establishes a brand in a very creative way.
Okay,
I think it
Yeah.
also helps us bond with our characters.
it's true.
Yeah, and it would help other people bond with their characters, like being able to like pick which ones they resonate with and represent them outside.
Nice.
Like
Does
in
the
Twilight, when people are like, "Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward?"
exactly though.
I don't really know that, but yeah, okay. Well, so I mean, I do think what's it mean to like iconize something?
Well, does the thing itself, the original thing, and we could have an hour-long discussion about the word original, but does the original thing cease to exist when the icon takes over?
Oh, wow.
Oh, it seems like the original will just be one flavor of the icon. And the original is not the most important anymore either. This is reminding me of like Samson was really into Spider-Man, and then they have like this thing called Into the Metaverse, where the metaverse is these different universes, a kind of like Matrix style thing, where there are different Peter Parkers who became different Spider-Mans. And there's like Spider Pig, who is like a cartoon pig representation of Spider-Man. There's the
Spider
regular
Noir. I like
Spider-Man.
Spider Noir. He's all in
Yes,
black and white.
yep, there's a noir version. There's like all these different versions of Spider-Man in the metaverse.
In parallel universes.
Yeah.
Is that like how there's a lot of Doctor Who's?
Well, it's the same Doctor Who. He just changes form.
Oh,
There's lots of
well,
actors, but it's the same Doctor Who.
you know, there's something called user generated content, which is when users or people who are on our station start making content about us, you know? So like here, this was a picture that my brother's a tattoo artist and he took a Stardoll picture and made like this painting from it, like on his computer, which then became I made into a lighter, but this was actually not me who made this, but like it's not a very iconic picture. I think it's like art made about the characters, it turns them into an artistic concept, like, you know, it's an art form to be a character, like Pee-wee Herman is I mean, people, he's controversial, but I mean, if you look at what he did, he made this character that is a piece of art, or Dolly Parton's a good example, or you know what I mean, like where it's like they are that the character itself is a piece of art, you know. And so I think when you start like making stuff like this, like people start reading the character as a thing. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with what Debbie's saying too, is like it helps with branding. And I think, and what you were saying before, it's like merch, because I think that's where I'm coming from, is from like a background of being in bands and then having a merch table. And then the merch table has like, you know, stuff with your band name on it. Then you go down the street, like you walk down the street and you see people who you don't even know wearing a shirt that has your band's name on it. You know, the first time that happened to me, I'm like, whoa, that is weird. I don't even know that person. You know.
Yeah, I was working with this talk show host recently, and we were talking about making merch for her. And then she was like, "I don't want my face on the merch." And I was like, "But you are the star, right?" Like, and so then I started looking up Oprah Winfrey merch because we're a lot of us, like Jenna and Kimber just started their talk show this week, right? And it's like they are the head of that talk show, right? So it's like there's Oprah Winfrey mugs, there's Oprah Winfrey shirts, there's Oprah Winfrey everything. But a lot of it's not just a photograph of Oprah Winfrey. It's an artistic rendering of Oprah Winfrey that then was made, you know? So it's like if Jenna and Kimber could get artistic renderings, or Debbie, if you ever start a show, or even if you want to like iconize yourself as an astrology teacher, we should have people make art of them and then we render that into merch. It's different than just a photograph of them.
Right. Yeah.
I think one thing with iconography that might happen, and I'm not judging it as good or bad, I think we just need to be aware of it, is that sometimes what can happen is that character becomes so separate from the creator or the person who traditionally is associated with it that it kind of like takes on its own form, and then it starts to mean different things to different people.
Yeah, I agree with that. A good example I think is the cross in Christian mythology. The cross in Christian mythology has taken on many meanings. You know, it's that don't have anything to do with its origin, and everybody attributes sometimes their own personality with the icon, and so it has layers of meaning that could be very personal for some people, objective or subjective in the extreme.
Well, I think Eminem's a good example where he has Slim Shady, which is his icon character, but then he goes back and forth. He's like, now you only want Slim Shady. And like he actually does that fourth wall thing where he talks about Slim Shady and then he talks about himself. And so I feel like we can talk about our characters and then talk about ourselves, and then we can pop in and out. Here's a realism t-shirt of Oprah Winfrey. That's realist. Okay. Keep talking. I'm just going to look up some more images of Oprah.
Well,
About go ahead, Jay-Z.
Well, I was going to say, I think it's true of any creative art piece that you put into the world. Like, for example, that one of Oprah Winfrey that you just showed us, Andy, is a good example, right? I mean, an actual artist created that Barack Obama thing that said hope on it. And now it's like people took off on that and copied that style, that whatever, to make it say things that, maybe they didn't necessarily even mean. Same thing with the, that the picture of the Rosie the Riveter, right? Like that too. It's just a style, and people who have bands who have songs that then get picked up by someone like a political party whose platform they don't necessarily agree with, and they can't stop them from playing their song at their rallies. Like, I think any creative art work that you do and put out there, you have to be prepared for that happening, I think.
Well, and that's actually a meme. When you become a topic of conversation that's controversial and everyone has their own opinion about it, that's a contagious thought form. Like Oprah Winfrey is like kind of like a meme, like Oprah. Like it's almost like Opal, or you know what I mean, or like Eminem. That even that name is like a contagious thought form. Like Eminem's contagious. Pee Wee Herman is contagious, and so I think you actually want your character to become contagious.
Yeah.
With Eminem, there's also like when people start imitating you or claiming that they're you now, like that's almost like they take on your character. And so like I'm thinking of Machine Gun Kelly, or even Baby No Money. Like he had a song with the chorus saying, "I'm the Gen Z Eminem." So like it's almost like when you create a character and then put it out there, it becomes almost like a public utility.
Well, okay, so there's things that are more contagious than others. Like Debbie is not a contagious idea, but Debbie D, like Jay-Z, we always call her Debbie D.
Mm-hmm.
Because Debbie D is very contagious, but Debbie is not as contagious.
Yeah, so that's what I want to use. I want to do Debbie D astrology. That's what I want to do. So,
but it's like listen to how we say it, Debbie D. Debbie D. It's like there's something about Debbie D. Like it's like the D. It's like makes it contagious. I didn't mean to like take that over, but I do think there like we are trying to make ourselves contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but do take me over then, please. Yes. Thank you.
Debbie D, the alliteration is great.
Can we like make a pun on the contagion thing and like make ourselves, like we've been doing a lot with circles. What if we turned the circle into like a virus? Like with us in the center, like almost like playing with the idea to manifest it.
Interesting. I would love to see you work on that, because I mean that's a vision in your head. I don't quite get it, but I'd love to see it from your side. Yeah, but Lumiere is more contagious than Alexander. I feel like that reason you chose Lumiere was it's kind of contagious.
No, I chose it because it was simple, and where I grew up on the East Coast, we all called each other by our last names or our nicknames.
You're not necessarily trying to be contagious, though.
No, I don't want to be contagious.
Yeah.
I do not want to be viral.
The true Scorpio. A true Scorpio. Yes.
Oh.
Well, I guess. Okay.
Well, I like the fact that our characters are different than us. And so so for me, my character is at zero, which I also, planned that alliteration, right? And made something that sounds cool to me anyway. Because I want Z0 to like have a kind of different life that's not exactly me either, right? So, and actually this week, Z0 got invited to co-host an event. And the person wants Z0 to do this, not me, but Z0, like dressed up and playing a clown with a certain character, and and it's a performance art piece, and like, yeah, it's going to be cool. And I think that allows me to not be so invested in what this character does, or self-conscious about how Z0 acts, because Z0 isn't me. He's a character.
Right. I mean, the challenge would be, I think, to see what the character would do in everything that you do, and try and be really at one, to use a cliche, with that character, and let go of Jay Z.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if Zero showed up to the production meeting, or Mir E showed up to the production meeting? How would that change a production meeting?
It depends how the actor acts.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good.
So if one of us showed up and we just happened to be wearing face paint and our costume, but we didn't act in character, that would be one thing, and it would go a certain way. And if we, took enough acting classes from Debbie D that we really got into it.
Can I give you a little secret? Can I give you? Here's the thing. No matter what your character is, there's a part of you in every character.
Mhm.
There is. It has to be authentic. That maybe it's something that's deep down that you would never do in the public, for anybody to see publicly, the real you. But there is always a part of you deep inside, no matter how bad your character is, or how badass your character is, or how it's always a part of you, because that's where it comes authentically. And it's like those things that you would never do in public. You would like, I could do this on stage because I could be zero and I could do whatever I want to do on there,
Mhm.
That's interesting to think about, the intersectionality of what you just explained, Debbie, and projections that we were discussing earlier. Like, you're projecting part of yourself that you can't quite own yet onto this character that you're portraying.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like very releasing, and it feels great to do that.
So let's actually talk about Jenna and Kimber's show, which they debuted today. So how did it go for you guys?
Great. I thought it went great.
It went good. Yeah. I think we did. I feel like there were some technical difficulties, but we pushed through.
What were the technical difficulties?
This weird flickering glare thing with my camera, and we had like met and practiced, we're like checking everything, and it never did it. We were on 30 minutes before, and then also another time, and then it just started doing it for the first time like every 2 minutes for the
yeah, it does flicker. It does flicker in StreamYard sometimes, and that's not you. That's just
well, no, I found out it was I tried Google Chrome for the first time, of course, for today, and the resolution going to 1080 is what made it flicker, and it doesn't flicker if it's in 720. But had no idea. I mean, thanks to Google, but it was not something I could figure out or like do anything about in the moment. So at first it was like hard to focus on anything else, but then we figured it out.
Yeah, it was very like the show must go on, because I caught myself almost like no poker face being like, what? But yeah.
You know what? I didn't get to see all. I want to see all of it. I saw like the first 5 minutes. I love the background that you both have. That is so cool, Kimber. I love it.
Thank you.
Background. Yeah. And you both had like a contrasting background side to side. And I really liked that. It was very eye-catching for me to see that.
How did the talking portion go?
The first 5 minutes, great. I have to see the rest of it. I didn't see
I mean,
it.
was it hard to fill the hour? Did you have stuff prepped, or how did you do that?
Jenna?
I don't think it was hard to fill the hour. I can talk endlessly, so I thought it was fine. And we did prep. We had quite a few different ways that we prepped as we're like narrowing down how to do it, but we wanted to have like maybe like little like key talking points to kind of pull us back in, and a rough kind of like in everything under the sun, how we're like 20 minutes per topic, 3 topics. We were like, okay, around 25 minutes we're going to shift around this time. So we weren't too rigid, and I think that made it really smooth.
And we wanted to do our individual prep because we wanted to still be a conversation where we're surprised by what the other person's saying and we're actually talking. So it was we wanted the transitions to feel very like high level. And so there were tangents that we went down. I almost feel like even though we didn't prepare together, I feel like we over prepared for this one, I guess, just to kind of, which I think makes sense for the first episode. And so we know what we want to talk about next week, but I do like that I didn't know what Jenna was going to say. Like I knew she was going to mention Inner Gold because we both had talked about that book before. And because we get so excited about topics, it's just, we're just accidentally talking about it beforehand. And I think I want to not do that as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something about over preparing. Like it's the same with musicians. When they're over prepared, there's not as much juice when they play the music. And you do want to keep yourself a little nervous so that you're kind of, it's a little juicier or more dramatic.
Right.
If you over prepare, it's kind of dead energy. But I hear you there.
It's the same with astrology readings, I find. Like if you prepare and you like start channeling and getting the information and then you have to turn it off, it's almost like you're recreating the path when you're with your client instead of just having it happen organically.
Yeah.
So a few things I liked. One was I liked when you asked the audience, and I learned from this actually because I was able to watch. I was at work, but I was able to watch because it's kind of slow. And I basically, it was interesting. I didn't know what to say a lot of the time because I was trying to like talk in the chat so you guys knew that we were there. But then there was a point where you asked a question to the chat. You're like, if you're in the chat and you want to answer this question, I thought that was really good. And maybe we should do that more at the station in general of like when we're on live streams, talk to the people in the chat. I mean, I do that sometimes. I'll be like, if you're in the chat, you have a question.
I feel like I picked that up from you.
Okay. Yeah. So, but as a viewer, that really worked. I was just like, oh, okay. Like, you know, it gave me something to speak to. So maybe all of us can maybe learn that lesson going forward is if there are people listening, talk to them. And, you know, like for whoever's watching right now, if you want to say, hey, in the chat, go ahead. Like, you know, like, and we know there's one person listening. So who is it? And do they want to say hi? But so that was one thing. Shane did give one piece of constructive feedback. He's a double Virgo. Do you want it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The only thing he said was, Jenna, you were moving a lot, which you're very kinetic and you're fire, air. So you are kinetic. But he said that Kimber was really stationary and you were moving a lot. And so that was just something to consider with how that looks in the screen. He said physicalization is something we work on. Is like if you do things that are really physical, it's like actually really good on camera. But he said that physicalization was a little distracting and maybe didn't add as much. So he's a double Virgo, and you don't have to take any critiques. You can be like, no, I like to move around, like, you know what I mean. So
we'll have to play with that because it's funny though because I usually move around a lot, and so I was just trying to stay still, or I'm in a more stable, like I'm not in a rolly chair because I'm always moving, or I made sure my knee that I fidget on wasn't. So it's so funny that Jenna was moving more than me.
I move so much and I was trying to hold it together. I have one of those like little kid waddle boards, so maybe I'll try that next.
Well, I always have something in front of me like to fidget with. Like I do a lot. Like here's like a nail clippers, and I'll do a lot of this. Like, so give yourself something to actually move energy with. That's, you know, because when you're really kinetic, it's like you got to move energy. But this is, I mean, but if you like that movement in your show, by all means. But that's just the only. I said, do you have any feedback for them? And that was the only thing he said.
No, that's really good feedback, and I do appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Shane.
I'll need to watch it back to like notice things like that too.
Now, if anyone critiques you, the right response is either I don't take critiques, or that was interesting, or do you want to critique back?
Shane, do you want to critique back?
Yeah, Shane, do you want to critique? Are you listening? No, I'm just kidding.
He's not. So
No.
I'll telepathically tell him. I gotta come up with one though.
Anyone else have anything about Kimber and Jenna's show, or?
I haven't seen it. I brought it up. I'll watch it after this.
If I don't make you too dizzy.
No, I'm good. I initially saw the Facebook showed me a blurb, and I initially thought that was good that one of you was doing something different than the other one.
Like movement wise?
Yeah, one was moving, one was not. If you were both moving, it would be like follow the bouncing ball. And if you were both not moving, then it would just be static. But the fact that somebody was moving and somebody wasn't kind of gave us something to watch. But I'll watch the whole thing and think.
I watched it and I didn't have any aversion to the movement. So when you get a critique, the other thing to do is ask like 10 other people and you'll get like 10 different. That's the thing. And I don't think Shane was trying to give a critique. He just was trying to be helpful. Right. But yeah, I didn't have any aversion to that when I was watching. I like physicalization in the screen. I think it makes things a lot more dynamic. So
I wonder if it is like, cause you're Gemini rising, so you're more maybe tolerant to that.
Yeah, he's triple Earth, so he's just like he's like a rock. He doesn't move that much.
Please stop moving.
Yeah, totally.
It depends on how good the content is, you know. If you're moving and the content is great, then who cares?
Yeah.
Well,
People will notice the movement if the content drags. I don't know.
So maybe it was a little draggy for Shane.
No. See, now you're taking it way
I'm
too
just
far.
happy we got the first one done because I think that there were just like, nerves, and I'm excited for the next one. And it reminded me, Jay-Z, of Show Your Work a lot, of just, we started, we did it, and we'll keep getting better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Jay-Z, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say it also might, Jenna, have to do with the fact that I don't know if you were using a virtual background then too.
No. I'll show you what I looked like.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun. But.
Oh,
it was
cool.
more cropped. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. You with the tree and the thing. Oh, that
I'm limboing in my room.
Oh, interesting.
You like my tape? This is real B-roll.
Yeah, that's some blue tape. And I like that background. I like yours too. I was gonna say, Kimber, I really like yours a lot too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kimber has many options too.
Jenna, try not to overstim on critiques.
Okay.
I can feel you overstimming. It's like
I forgot you're Leo.
Well, yeah. Gemini moon, like I'll do that too, but I've learned to journal about stuff because you have to arrive at like, what is your as an artist, what is your creative control? Like I get critiques and I'll be like, yeah, no thanks, I like it my way. Like, but sometimes there's a critique that comes in and I'm just like, I do think about it, but try not to overstim on it. Try to just write in a journal or ask a few people, but try not to think like, did I do something wrong? Because it's like, you can do no wrong. The only thing you'll see that is wrong that you might do is not show up, which is why today's topic is the show must go on. That's why we try to adhere to mainly like, did you show up and did you show up on time? If you do those two things, you can do no wrong. Because even if we have to take an episode down, which we've taken one episode down ever, and that was because somebody talked about something very personal that was not safe, we took that down. But like, unless you do something really, I mean, even if you make a big mistake, you can take it down. You know what I'm saying? And that's, so try not to overstim on it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else in the week in review? Debbie, how was your week? Anything, developments over there?
You know what I've been working on for the past 5 years, right?
Your is it a book or your class?
Class.
Okay.
I got a notification from somebody that I passed the last exam, but I didn't get it from the person who's supposed to tell me.
Wait, that you passed NCTR 5?
Yeah, the last exam.
The rectification stuff?
Yes. No,
Oh,
and beyond the rectification,
Are you
have
like
to do
officially certified?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's
That's like an
amazing.
intense certification program. That's awesome.
oh,
Oh my
congrats.
God, you have no idea.
Oh, I was like looking at, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I didn't know how far you were in it.
Yeah, you know what? After the level 2, I was like, I don't know if I want to go through for 3 and 4. And I'm like, and my friends were like, no, you have to do it. I'm like, okay. And I did it.
That's incredible.
Aw.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
huge.
congratulations.
That's so,
Thank you.
I
and I
know what
think
that means.
that really solidifies the reason why you can be like, you're a good person to teach the newbies at the Moira Press, because like we work with it mostly advanced people, and so like we can definitely filter them over to you as far as the newbie classes, because we can now say, well, she's NCGR 5 certified and blah 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 blah, you know.
Yeah, well, actually, it's level 4, but it is like it was a two. It was a two. First, you have to do a rectification just to get to be able to apply for level 4. So I had to do the rectification, and I passed that, and then I just did this too. So
When is your next intro class you're teaching?
probably mid-January, and I do Mondays, so I won't be able to be joining in on these when I start my classes again. I do Mondays because I have to do it with my students, when they want to do it. So
Well, maybe send me that info like a week and a half before, and I can send it out to all my channels.
I love you. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Should we talk about the topic tonight of the show must go on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so the point of this topic was, okay, so we recently had a situation where an artist canceled on us, and they were shocked when we went on with the show. Like, they were like, well, wait, you're doing it without me? And I was like, well, you canceled, but we don't cancel our shows because an artist canceled, right? And she was really shocked by that. And so, you know, I'm not. That wasn't meant to. Hopefully, that didn't sound negative. It was just a weirdness between artist and production team of like, we don't cancel shows. We are like a stalwart. Like, we go on and on. The show must go on, right? And so, the question comes in is like, what do we do? What is okay? Let's start with this question. What are actually good reasons to cancel your show, or this also came up recently with a band I was going to go see. They canceled the show. And like, I was like, what? You canceled the show? I mean, okay, if there's a family emergency, you know what I mean? Like, there are reasons to cancel shows, but it's like
Death.
death. Okay,
Yeah.
Death
death.
is the only reason to cancel a show.
Or I had a concert canceled because the singer had laryngitis, but where they couldn't perform. It was horrible though, but because I really was looking forward to it, but I understand they were sick. Jen and I talked about that with our show of like, if we had an interview scheduled and one of us had a death or something, some emergency, if there was an interview with another person, it would make sense to go on. But since we're a co-host type of show, and if it was just the two of us and there was an emergency like that, then maybe it does make sense to cancel, because we're not a solo podcast, unless it was a topic where we were having like, we would want so it's not like a lecture, because the whole point is that we like riff off of each other.
Totally. Alexander, is that a thing in theater? Because you have a theater background. Is that like if someone's in a play and
Yeah.
their character, because the play can't go on without their character.
Well, really, death. I mean, I'm joking, but death is the thing that stops people from coming. If you're sick and you have the flu, you come.
Mm-hmm.
If you're throwing up, you come. The play always goes on. If there's some reason why you're going to mess up the play, you don't come. But if you can be on stage, you come.
My teacher used to say, like we would go to the rehearsals and I'm like, I'm not feeling good. He goes, good, your character's not feeling well. Deal with it. That's
Yeah.
That's what he would say.
I have known actors who have had a death in the family and they come, because that's the protocol for theater. You come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember years ago, the one time I got called a narcissist by my brother was because I was on a family trip, and there was like some kerfuffle, and I had to get home because I was playing there's 6 females playing this show, and I was the piano player, and I was like, I have to get home to be in this show. Like you know what I mean? Like, and they're like, you nurse. But okay, this was like 10 years ago. Like, but I had to fight the narcissist thing. Like, am I a narcissist? But now, knowing what I know now, I was like, no, it's that when you're in theater or when you are performing, there are there was not only the 6 people depending on me in the show, all the people who were ready to go to the show, the people who had set up the show. You know what I mean? It's like you're going to disappoint like 30 people or one person in your family. I mean, but see how it seems heartless, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is I find that some people find it that this business is heartless, and what do we think of that?
Well,
Well, in legitimate theater, it's a given circumstance, and it may not be in this circumstance.
I think you have to flip the script on that. I think it's more heart. This is your love and passion for theater. I don't think it's heartless. I think it is like, how serious are you about this? You have to be 1,000% in. I mean, you have to be crazy 1,000% to want to do this, to get in there. You know, and
JP, what were you gonna say?
yeah, I actually, Kimber, when you said like, oh, well, if one of us was sick because there are 2, I was thinking you were going to say because there are 2, the one can go on.
Right. Yeah.
Because
we're trying to figure that out. Yeah.
That's what Andy and I kind of figured in, like, when we have 2 of us, like, so even like the Course in Miracles group, right? Like, it's great that we co-host it, because then if one person has something they have to do, they have a family obligation, or they're giving a talk at Kepler or whatever it is, that if one person is doing, like, then the other person can go on. And then also I was thinking, well, then the one person, maybe this is going to be the heartless part, but like, well, the other person could just get a guest co-host for that episode.
We talked about that too. It's like having backup, like, and actually getting another co-host.
Yeah.
I don't think that's heartless.
Like the Conan O'Brien show, like, went on with guest hosts.
Yeah.
Like, and it's his show with his name on it. Like, you know, I definitely think the show can go on, because like Kimber, in your example, like, you as an audience member, ticket holder, really were planning on this event occurring. So I guess it becomes a matter of, like, yeah, if you're going to hear an opera singer who's your favorite opera singer, and it's not a good choice either that they have laryngitis and they can't sing, but they do it anyway, and the show is awful. And it's also not a great thing if you paid like all this money for your favorite person and then their understudy does it.
Right.
What do you think about like pivoting topics? So like if Kimber and if one of us was sick and we were really looking forward to our conversation that we had planned, the person who's not sick kind of is like, well, I'm just going to do a show on Eagles, and just like,
but I think what Jay-Z said now is making me think that since we want to tease episodes the week before, and if someone's really into the next topic and then an emergency happens, like, I'm thinking, because that concert that got canceled, it got rescheduled in like 3 months later, when I knew I was going to be in Philly the whole summer. So I was like, I can't even go to that. And I'm thinking, like, if we have, we know a guest is coming, like, we can't just push topics. Like, and so, but I want to get people invested where they want to come, they know when a topic they're interested in. And so maybe I like that just was a good point of that. We could do a different topic. And yes, the other, like, it's more like for us of like, we are so excited about these topics to talk about with each other. But if there was an emergency, one of us is missing out if we continue with it. But I'm thinking more about like the audience experience of just, I would be disappointed if I'm like, I've been excited this week for this topic, and then the day of, even if I know there's an emergency, it's hard. It's like, but I wanted to listen to that topic, not this topic.
Okay.
I think pivoting topics is that would be like a band not playing a certain song and playing a different song. I think that's a great workaround. Like, think about marrying your crowd. Like, when you're married to somebody, do you just not show up for your dinner date? Like, if you want to kind of cause tension in your relationship and make them feel bad and like have them start looking elsewhere for companionship, like the crowd will look elsewhere for companionship. I mean, you marry the crowd. I'm serious. Treat them like a marriage partner, because if you're just dating the crowd and you're just like, I don't know, I'll see you when I see you, they'll date you back. They'll be like, all right, I'll see you when I see you. Like, and so I think it a pivot is that, can we go to a different place for dinner, honey? Like, I think the most important thing is, do you show up at the time that you said you were going to show up and be with them? These are people who are lonely. I mean, not in a negative way, like, or who are bored. I mean, I'm not saying they're desperate. I'm just saying, like, your show made me happy today because I was like, kind of like alone in my office. I was like, oh my god, Kimber and Jenna, like, it makes people happy to see you and get attached to you. People get attached to the characters, and then when you don't show up on them, it's like canceling a date. I mean, that's kind of how I would see it. I keep putting my foot in my mouth on this episode. Oh my god.
You could come up with
Bars
creative
must
ways.
be square something.
What is it?
What'd you say?
Ooh, bars must be square something, I was saying,
Yeah.
Andy.
You could come up with creative ways, like if Jenna can't make it, have her set up and just talk to her as if she were there. Or you could come up with her spirit animal and just say, so what do you think about this, Jenna? And have the animal answer.
Finger puppet
and
Jenna.
your puppet Jenna.
Rose Court, Andy.
Yeah, totally.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So you could do, you could come up with interesting ways of getting around it,
Oh my god.
but
That's
still
a
be
good
there. Still be there.
But like, let's say I got sick before the Gloucester trip. Then the question is like, most people are like, "You're sick, you cancel." I'll be like, "I'd be putting on a mask and getting out there and start. I'll be wearing a mask." I mean, that's the show must go on ethos. Is like, you wear a mask and you go, and then this character's sick, like Debbie's saying. But what do you guys think of that? Like, if I got sick or Jenna got sick, do we want Jenna to cancel or do we want Jenna to come with a mask?
I don't plan to get sick. I told my family I'm canceling Christmas if anyone's sick because I'm like, I have to be in Gloucester.
This is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm all in on the come and be sick.
The show must come on, go on. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing to say. That's what happens in theater. The show must go on. Andy, have you ever canceled an interpreting gig that you had to go out to? Community job?
No.
Neither have I.
I've never canceled a YouTube show on any guest either. I've done 580 of them without canceling.
Wow. And
But
you know what? When you're doing something that you're passionate about, it keeps your health healthy anyway. You stay healthier that way because you love what you're doing.
Yeah. But I do think to have this, Debbie makes a good point that to have this level of passion about show business, you in Self-Management for Actors by Bonnie Gillespie, which we're going to be talking about that book soon. She talks about how what you lose by being in show business, and one of the thing is your sanity. Like, I got thrown in the slammer for schizophrenia because they thought I was delusional, and I was like, I swear to God, there's a TV program. Like, they just kept thinking I was delusional, and like I kept holding steady with what was going on, and like. So the point is I lost my sanity for show business, which she says in the book, you might lose your sanity. You might lose people who think you're a show off. You might lose this, you might lose that. But I don't want people to have to lose things for it, but I do think there is that you got to commit. So in Jay-Z and I were talking yesterday about integration with your family, integration with your life. How can you integrate this with your life? You do have to put your show pretty high on your queue. Like, you can't say, oh, my friend Sarah who needs me because she's on, I don't know.
She has a hangnail.
She has a hangnail. She needs me. I got to cancel my show. Like, no, your show's up here. Sarah's hangnail is like, I mean, I don't know. See, I'm putting my foot in my mouth. But I'm trying to make a point where it's like it does take a certain kind of insanity to commit to this business. And it's not just a business, it's a love, it's a passion. It's not about money really. I don't really make a lot of money. It's more of a passion, right? Like um
I
anyway.
wonder if there's something to like people, you know how they say that like people who are famous, there's a higher percentage of them that have yods in their charts. Have you guys heard that?
Really? I
Yeah,
never heard
so,
that.
like
Oh.
to have a yod doesn't mean you're going to be famous, but if you are famous, there's a good chance that you have something like a yod, and it's because there's so much energy concentrated on that apex that the rest of the chart kind of like flounders. So it's like the famous actor whose personal life is in shambles because they just don't have enough energy to attend to every single part of their life. So it's kind of like that's what we're talking about with like theater in general. It's like to be passionate and to make an impact and to really be devoted to this is to have a high focus on this area of life.
Well, and I think in a healthy integrated system, you don't have to lose anything to be, in the public eye. Like I think in a beautiful world, it's like Shane has no problem with me doing this. I was already doing this when he met me. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, Andy's at work. Like, it's more when people step into a role that then they have to carve space for that. It's usually when you step into the role that people tend to be a little bit more like, oh, I got to move it down the queue, and it's just like, be careful because the show must go on. So this comes to the why cancelers don't make it very long. Okay, let's talk about this. And this is not a warning to anyone. This is just we just try to cover one topic a week, and this is just the topic for today. So don't seem like it's like admonishing anyone. This is just the topic. But cancelers don't last very long. Why is that? What
Give me an example. Which kind of canceller? Where, who?
actors who cancel, like let's say there's an actor who didn't show up for a play, would they be asked to the next play?
No. They might be, but word would get out that they're not reliable.
Yeah, that's
Actors who don't show up for rehearsals, word gets out they're not reliable.
That's a good word, reliable, because I think that's what the context is if people around you are high performers, they need the other people around them to be reliable, or else it's not helping propel everybody forward. It's pulling them back.
Yeah.
What do you think, Camber?
I'm just everything you guys are saying reminds me. I taught middle school for 5 years, and middle school is performing, and but whenever a teacher on the team would call out, it's like because you can plan an absence, but a call out would literally affect the whole hallway. And I got a concussion 2 weeks before state testing, and I was told I need to be out for 2 weeks, and I was like, I'll do 2 days, and I was handwriting my lesson plans, and I was there with sunglasses and the lights off, and I was still trying to teach and do things. But I'm like, that's what you need to do as a teacher. Like even when COVID happened, it's like they still had to teach on Zoom. Like we have to perform and engage kids, and it's because it's seen as a job. It's like that makes sense. There's like you need to do it for the kids, and it's like why can't we have that same sentiment with show business? You know what I mean? Like it is a job to you. It's like you're committed to this thing. And I feel like people kind of assume or like expect you to do that with teaching, but it's like weird, or you're choosing something else, or it's like your priorities are off if you're doing it with something that other people don't see as important.
It's really interesting. This is actually teamwork. So a lot of people who are artists feel like they're like it's all about me, and those artists actually don't last very long. The ones who are all about the teamwork aspect of it last a really long time because the ones who are like, oh, I have a part in the play and we all are dependent on my part. It's actually teamwork, just like being a middle school teacher.
Mhm.
So that, you make a great point. And my producer Billy, it always talks about teamwork. He was a baseball player in high school, and he's like, this is just like playing baseball. Because like even like if you're the one, if I'm making the questions on Facebook, I'm the pitcher on the team. If I'm not pitching, the team's not going, right. You see what I mean? So if I go out for a week and go out to Bermuda, it's like the game stops. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but like Debbie might be the shortstop, and then if someone hits a ball and Debbie's not there, like the ball gets through. And like the thing is like we all are players on a team actually, and that's the healthful way to look at it. Is it's not really about you, it's about the group when you don't show up.
Right.
What about when there's certain people who, when they don't show up, it makes more of a difference or more of an impact? Like, I find that some of the groups that I belong to, if like I'm the reliable one who is consistently there, and it actually makes it so that there are a few people who are like 50-50, like they'll last minute not show up, but it's because they know that the core people will be there, therefore they don't think it's going to impact the entire. So is that more like an unequal distribution of
And wouldn't the core person get a little resentful? Like,
yeah, actually, she is getting a little resentful now that you bring that up.
Well, actually,
go ahead. I was just going to say, to me, it's like akin to like you have a really bad tooth, and you can't deal with it anymore. You have to take it out. You take it out. So is it better without having a tooth, or was it better having a bad tooth? It's, it's like one of those deals, like, yeah, you take it out and yeah, it's better, but something's missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of feel, when you have someone, if it's just someone who's just a pain in the butt. This happens on a professional level. You see it on, on Facebook and everything about these actors who, like, they didn't show up. Who was that guy that was in with the two brothers and the kid? And he's a famous, I can't remember his name. Anyway, I mean, he was on drugs. He was always late. He was always a problem, blah, blah, blah. And
it's about half of Hollywood.
Yeah, it is half of Hollywood. That's so true. And some of them, they don't show up, and it's like, yeah, they have to do, it's like it postpones. They want that actor, but it's like they have to postpone everything. And if it's a weekly show and everything, it's like it's a pain in the butt. It's like, get over here. Then they're staying there till 3 a.m. because this jerk won't get there on time. It's tough.
So Jenna, sorry. So to speak to that equation, I do see that there are core people. Like the fact that you and Kimber have decided to come to production meetings is turning you into the core. You're more core, right? There are levels of engagement. Now, what I've learned to do with people who can't show up on time is I push them out to the asynchronous part of the system. Like, oh, you still want to engage us, but you don't show up on time. You can come in on Facebook, which is asynchronous, and talk to us whenever works for your schedule. But am I going to depend on you for a synchronous meeting? I can't. You're unreliable on time synchronicity, right? So but if they want to be involved but they're not core, then they are a different character. They're a fan character, or they're a student character, or it's like rings of engagement, right? And so we try to take everyone who wants to be with us and be like, great, now put them in where they can, what works for their, I feel like you and Kimber would feel annoyed if you were on the outskirts because you're actually core. Like, you're like, no, I can do this. I want to do this job with you. So we invited you in and are having you in these things, and you're doing all the things. You're showing up on time, and you're doing all the things it takes to be core. And so there's no annoyance on either side. It's like a win-win. But if it started to become annoying to anyone, it's no longer a win-win, then we would try to reposition you so that it's still a win-win. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I think there has to be clarity too of like what kind of a commitment is necessary to be in each of these circles of engagement. So, and I don't know what kind of a thing you're talking about, Jenna, but like I have a book club, and like there's like one rule in book club, which is you have to have read the text that we all agreed that we were committing to reading. And we've had endless conversations with one person who wants to be in book club, but might not have read, wants to be it okay if they might not have read everything, like all the chapter that we agreed on. And I'm like, no, it is not okay, because it dilutes the conversation.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to talk about something else because you didn't read the book. Like, it doesn't work that way. So like, you can't come to book club if you haven't done what you said you were going to do.
Which makes
Was
sense.
that, I guess I'm also interested in, because I think, Andy, at the beginning you were saying how it kind of made, I don't know if it upset that person that you went on with the show, or it's like, or if you don't meet the book club requirements, it's like, well, then this might not be the right space for you. How to not, I guess you might just offend someone, but that's okay.
Yeah, and that's where security comes in. Sometimes you have to call security.
Because I mean, I host murder mystery parties, and I've been told I'm pretty uptight, but I'm like, if you happen to be an important character and you don't show up, or you're 30 minutes late, but I was like, you'll never be invited again. And like, yeah. I put it very clear. I say it 2 months before. I remind people, I'm like, you will never be invited again. And they're like, you're intense. But I was like, and now everyone shows up, because I'm like, and you need to be your character, because I think you have to prepare. You don't know if you're an important character. You need to be there, because otherwise it doesn't happen.
Oh, that's so interesting, Kimber, because I've had this conversation lately with some friends about like when something is a threat and when something is just being very clear that you're communicating what the inevitable consequences will be of what a person does, and like that's just the way it is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend who was on call, and so they were a filler character, but I'm like, just be very clear. Like, I will give you a character that can show up late, but if you just bail, and that's not cool. Like, I'm just like, no, I planned this.
Well, Kimber, the fact that you've done that, and we know that, shows that you are a producer, and that producers are managers in the arts, and you have to be kind of a boss to be a producer. And like, everyone who's in this room is totally a boss, just by temperament. And when you're a boss and a manager, you don't want to be just an artist or just talent. You want to be on the production team. And I appreciate knowing that about you, because it shows that you get it. I mean, that's exactly how I am. It's like, we make 15 decisions before we schedule something, and then when someone messes with the schedule, I was like, dude, mess with me and find out, because I just had 15 meetings to figure out if we should schedule this.
I work in operations, so I love all things like production and logistics and operations. It is so behind the scenes.
All right. Okay. The last thing we got 1 minute to talk about when people flounce or bounce or trounce. What's it called? Flounce.
I know what bouncing is. What's flouncing?
Or no, it's when people leave in a huff.
Oh,
like upset.
Yeah. Like, so the person that we went on without, she ended up flouncing. I think it's when they get all upset and then they leave and they're like, you guys are awful. And that's what happens sometimes when you put down the hammer of consequence, is that people get mad and leave, and then they go off and tell everyone how horrible we are, kind of thing. So what do we think about that?
I love when that happens. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah, me too, because then it actually, when things like that happen, I'm like, oh wow, that reinforces that I just made the right decision here.
JC, I had a book club and I was kicking people out for not even buying the book, let alone reading it. And I was like, this is not the point. I'm not sitting here giving you free astrology readings. We're supposed to be discussing this astrology text. And they started like telling other people, warning other people, Jenna just wants your chart and then she'll never let you back in. And it's like, you were never listening. You just didn't read the book. Stop stressing about me. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, you do collect charts, I've heard.
I do collect charts, so that's why it was triggering.
Yeah, I think I love it when people make clear that you have made the right decision, and when they do things like that to me, Andy, it just like lowers them another notch in my estimation, and I just like them less.
This is why you're my husband on the team, because my Pisces moon is not like that. I'm like weeping into my pillow. But yeah, yeah, I'm pretty much like, I'm so sorry your feelings. God, I'm a terrible person. It's like, why did I do that? I didn't.
I mean, but to other people who might be interested in working with you, it shows like you mean business, or it's like you can take this person seriously. And maybe I won't try to set something up or work with this person until I know I have the time to do so, because it's going to be taken seriously.
Okay, and that brings us to our last point before we close the meeting, which is the reason that people don't last very long when they're counselors is because there's other people in the queue waiting. You know what I mean? It's like, and those people are like, all right, we take this seriously, and once that person goes, they just come right up, and it's like, yeah, it's like if you want to hold your spot, just do the job, and then it'll be fine. And you know, anyway, I hope no one found this to be a disturbing topic. I think it's a great topic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, great meeting, everyone. I look forward to next week and see y'all tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.